Check. Good. So I'm Max Ceron. Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding Podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding Podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association Podcast. My name is Max Ceron and I am here in beautiful New Brunswick, the city of St. John, for Atlantic Skills Competition. This week there's going to be a number of trades going on, competition mode to find out who's the best to go to nationals, and this is a qualifying year for Worlds for Shanghai, China. One of the fantastic things about doing these competitions is meeting the great people who are here that work so hard in a variety of different jobs. And one of them that we have here, who is a part of the CWB Foundation now, is Adam Stead. Adam, how you doing?
Thanks for having me. Doing great.
Doing great?
Yes.
You tired?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I have a whole other day of this.
So let's start real quick with what your role is here at Skills.
So here at Skills, I'm an NTC for New Brunswick. So I've been that position since 2015. So we're on our 10th year. And basically, I help get the drawings ready, the rubrics ready, get the judges lined up. And then the day of the event, I help the event run along. So this event we have sponsored. So I work with Miller Welding. I work with Hobart Fillers, and just ensure that everything's running smoothly and that we're basically mimicking what we do at nationals. So when you go to nationals, you've already kind of done the precursor. Now you're into the represent your province at the national level, right?
And it's over a few days here. So how do the days break down?
So we arrived yesterday. We set everything up, make sure all the machines run, the gas is good, no issues there. Filler metal's ready, tungsten sharpened, that sort of thing. And then when we hit this morning, your materials in your booth, your machine's ready to roll. We have the drawings ready, the rubrics are ready, the judges are showing up. So everything is kind of already preset. And as you know, the more you do this, the better it flows and the more fluid it is every year. It's just, yeah.
And then today, I believe, was post-secondary.
Today is post-secondary, so we've had 12 competitors from all over New Brunswick. Yeah.
I heard there was 13, but somebody unfortunately dropped out at the last minute.
Unfortunately, and I think he was going to be one of the good ones too. Yeah, so it's too bad.
Hopefully they're young enough they can go next year.
Next year, exactly.
And then tomorrow's going to be secondary, high school kids.
High school kids, so another 13 kids from all over New Brunswick. Yeah,
and that's going to be interesting too because they'll be real nervous.
Yeah, they're very nervous. So we take a little bit more precaution with them. We kind of go over the symbols and make sure they really understand how it's going to go together, and kind of reassure them that it's going to be okay, and that make sure they know where they're going to put the weld in the proper place. So yeah, we help them just a little bit more. Yep.
All right. Well, let's back up now and talk about you, in terms of where you come from and your role. So are you a local here to New Brunswick?
So I am. I'm originally from Newfoundland. We moved here in 92. So I've lived in New Brunswick since 1992. Yeah.
So a young man, because you're quite a bit younger than me, I think.
Yep. Turning gray, though.
No, I'm already there, man. I'm already gray land. I'm Santa Claus. Someone called me Santa. You called me Santa today. Jeez.
Guilty.
Yeah. Now, how did you get into the welding field? Because when I first met you, it was a while ago, a few years ago now.
Yes. Yep.
You were in a very different role than what you are now. So walk us through your career.
So I was an athlete before, pursuing the football career that everybody thinks they're going to make. And then I said, hey, I got to go back to New Brunswick and take a trade. So my father's a railroader and my family's tradesmen. So it kind of was like, hey, there's jobs here. I have to pursue this. And that was about the same time that there's a lot of welders needed out west.
Yeah.
So the word was out, we need welders. So I took a 1-year program, loved it. From there, got a job locally in Moncton.
Where did you take the 1-year program?
NBCC here in St. Andrews, New Brunswick.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. And from there, got a job local in Moncton doing some structural. That worked into a machine shop. That worked into a little bit of a nuclear shop in Fredericton, New Brunswick. And from there, moved back to Moncton, got in with a sprinkler fitter outfit called Troy Life and Fire. Welded pipe with those guys for about 9 years before going to the college to teach welding.
Yeah. Now, in that time, like you talked about going out west. It's something I've talked about in the other podcasts here because there's a misconception I find. The more I've learned about the Maritimes, the more I come out here to know the Atlantic provinces. as a Westerner myself, I'm from Saskatchewan. I've done a lot of my work out west, and we never ever had like the inclination out west to go east.
Right.
And it was always this idea that every May the planes would show up from the East Coast, and you'd have the Newfoundlanders, the Nova Scotians, the New Brunswick PEI. They'd be coming out, and there'd be planes full of them, of tradespeople for shutdown season. Whether you're in oil and gas out in Alberta or you're in the mining industry in Saskatchewan, we'd be bringing in all the travel cards. Now, in that world, I had a misconception that there wasn't work out here, right? And perhaps that was wrong, because the more people I meet out here, the more people I know, they've had wonderful careers out here, and there seems to be lots of industry, so from your position, you kind of have tasted, drank the water in a few places. How do you feel about the industry here in the Atlantic provinces?
It's up and down. That's where you see the wave that would go out west, and or in Newfoundland even, they would even go even more east.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of hits and misses. We did have a large structural steel community back when I first started. There was a lot more. A lot of those have gone down. It's just the larger ones.
Construction stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of structural steel now with the shipbuilding, with the pipe fitters, with the refinery, boiler makers in the refinery. There's the iron workers. So there is a lot of industry still around, and you don't hear it as much. You don't hear a lot of the going out west as you used to. Yeah. And basically, I think they're just looking for a higher wage is kind of what it was.
Yeah, it wasn't so much that there wasn't the work here.
Right.
It was just a better pay.
Yep.
Which is something that still exists. Like when I travel, I would say it pays a little bit better here than perhaps places in Ontario. But, when I travel through Ontario, I can really see a large difference in the pay discrepancies from west to central and eastern Canada. I wonder why that is. I've never really been able to figure that out.
To me, I think it's more the process too. If you're getting more manufacturing, sometimes the manufacturing, there's so many guys in that world that I think it's kind of watered down a little. So maybe that's what it is. There's so many people where you get more specialized. Maybe you got a pipe ticket. Maybe you can go to here. Maybe you're working
some stainless or whatever.
There's something a little more. You're going to get a little more. So I think in those central, maybe it's a little more manufacturing.
Yeah. In your career, like you said that you came back from your desire to be a professional athlete. What position did you play?
Offensive line.
You, an offensive line.
I was a little.
Yeah, you're about 100 pounds short.
Yeah.
So you came back, and you decided to get into the trades and take this 1-year program. Was that process, difficult at all? Was it easy to get into welding out here?
I think since I got into the higher level of football, it kind of gave me that discipline to be in the booth, working towards my goal, which was like a pipe ticket at the time, get that diploma, and then you have to start making some money. So at that point, it's you got to get moving. And I was just fortunate enough that I had good connections to get good jobs that kind of propel me in my career.
And then when you were working with the sprinkler fitting company,
yep.
You're doing a lot of small diameter pipe, I assume, right? Like lots and lots of small diameter pipe. What was your desire at that point in your career? When you were looking forward into your future, did you see yourself getting into these type of jobs, or were you content with welding?
No, I was happy with welding. So I had met a colleague of mine at the nuclear shop, and he said, "Hey, my cousin has this pipe shop. So plus they're a union job." So I was like, so I get in with the UA. So I had a great pension, home every night. We traveled, but we worked hard. So we had the weekends off, and it was just a good career. My boss was awesome. He's here today. Troy Life and Fire. They're big sponsors of Skills Canada. Nice. And he always pushed me to go get that ticket. Make sure you keep your career up. So when the opportunity came to leave him, I really didn't want to do it. And it was heartbreaking, but he said, "No, you're right. You're ready to go to your next step in your career."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was into teaching.
Yeah.
And how did that transition happen?
So if we back the truck up a little, I'm married to a teacher. My mother's a teacher. So I kind of had that teacher in me.
The blood of a teacher.
Yeah. And I had a really good teacher. He's still teaching in NBCC in Moncton. So he was my mentor. So it was kind of cool. I got to go work with him.
Not John.
No, definitely not. No. No, Louis LeBlanc, shout
Louis
out.
LeBlanc, yeah, he's awesome, dude. Yeah.
So he was going to take me under his wing, kind of show me the ropes, get me into it. So yeah, it was natural, and I was looking forward to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When did you just apply, or did they come knocking?
Well, at that time, like I said, the waves of construction in the Maritimes was getting slow at that time. So the pipe fitting was a little bit slow. So I said, well, I'm going to go get a more pressure ticket and go out west, as well as my plan was. And then through there, when I was in practicing for a test, Louis said, hey, drop a resume off. I think you should be here working with us. So, so perfect. Yeah. Good timing.
How did you feel about that transition? It's a very different beast.
There was a lot of planning, a lot of late nights to start.
Yeah.
But once you get into it, you taught.
Yeah.
It's just you can walk in without a book at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You miss the students?
I do, but my new role is awesome because now I get to work with students again with our camps, or also teaching high school teachers with our educator training. So I feel like I'm a foot back in education.
Yeah. Now, how long were you in the college?
I was there for 8 years.
8 years.
Yep.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I taught a pre-employment program for about 5 years, and then I transitioned into apprenticeship for the last 3, and I just loved apprenticeship. It was
Yeah.
I
was just talking to someone about how much they enjoy teaching apprenticeship more than the pre-em. I enjoyed both, but I get it because my favorite class to teach, if I had to teach one, is level 3.
Yes. Yep.
Right. Like, I mean, I loved getting them ready for the JP exam. That's where all the stress is. Yeah. That's where you really hit the trenches, No. And you become like a team with your class because it's like nobody wants to see anyone fail.
No.
Everyone in that group is rooting for each other,
It's so rewarding too. Like even being here today, I see them and they got a new house, they got a new truck, now they got a baby. So like we kind of help them along their career too, which is awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
So why leave? I went to CWB from college, right? I got the call. For me, it was a COVID choice, right? COVID happened, and we all got sent home at the college and told to wait. I'm not very good at waiting.
Right.
I'm a very impatient man.
Yeah. Mine's very similar. Yeah.
Right. So then basically, CWB had an opportunity, and I decided to take it. It was to be honest, a bit of a pay cut, but it was very, I guess, in line with what I wanted to keep progressing in terms of my career.
Right.
For yourself, what was the deciding factor to go from teaching? Because, getting those long tenured teaching jobs is also not easy.
No.
Some people wait their whole lives to get a teaching job in a college and they can't get it.
Right. No, same thing for COVID. The numbers started to get down a little. It wasn't as much apprenticeship coming in, and I have a great wife. She's a high school teacher, like I mentioned. So she kind of guided me. She'd say, hey, you can go try something else. Like, it's okay to do that. And I did it, and I loved it. I was like, it's just as rewarding as when I was teaching. So, I think it was a great transition. Just like I said, a next step in your career.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. And then, I always volunteered whenever the CWB Foundation would come around.
That was going to be my next question.
Or give grants in the community. I would go volunteer and try to help these teachers get their programs going. So I kept connected with the CWB through Josh at the foundation, and he brought me this wonderful opportunity. So yeah.
Well, it's interesting because you don't exist in the welding sphere without knowing the CWB.
Yeah. Right.
And I was talking to some of the UEA guys this morning, and in my previous lifetime as a full-time welder out west, there's almost a dislike or a distaste of the CWB. They're like the invigilators. They can ruin your career if you fail some tests. They're the inspectors that have all the rules and regulations. Not that they don't exist for everyone else, but you just, it's like the man, right?
Right.
And when I got the opportunity to work for CWB, it was kind of a double-edged sword for me. I was like, do I go work for this place that I kind of, didn't love as a welder? But then as a teacher, I started to get an appreciation of the CWB because I didn't know that whole other side. I didn't know about the foundation. I didn't know, the foundation's about 12 years old now, I think, around there. And so, these things have been created in the last decade or so. But the association's been around for over 100 years. My dad was a part of the CWB Association. Well, back then it was WIC, the Welding Institute of Canada. And I've been volunteering since the early 2000s to try to understand this whole other side of the business of the CWB. Now, when I got offered a job here, I was like, can I do good? Can I bring change to CWB? Can I bring my flavor of industry? Because like yourself, you're a welder first. You know,
Yes.
you're a tradesperson,
Right.
an educator. So you got some beefs in your mind
Yep.
that you're like, I can hopefully fix these beefs.
Right. It's
right?
true. Yep.
And like, how much of that did you bring into the job when you got that first opportunity to come to CWB?
Yeah. For me, it was like the opportunity to kind of keep the accreditation going and keep the certification going. So these students, when they leave, they don't just have a diploma. Now they have a ticket. So maybe they could get a job in a shop that they didn't know they were going to get, and kind of help push them towards maybe getting into inspection. Maybe they didn't know they're not really a great welder, and they're like, hey, well, maybe I could get into the
what's
inspection.
weld adjacent? I love that term now. Weld adjacent,
Right?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of students reach out now. They're like, okay, Adam works for the CWB. How do I get my level 1? How do I get that supervisor? So it's nice to take the past and kind of help it with what I can now. So yeah.
I just had a mechanic come up to me today and said, is there work at CWB for mechanics? And I said, well, not directly, but I'm not going to say no.
Yep.
Because they're CSR jobs.
Yeah. Yep.
And you can kind of just come in off the street for those.
Yep.
And he's like, well, how do they pay? And I actually didn't know.
Yeah.
I looked it up.
Yep.
$28 to $35 an hour.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No. It's a very busy career. It keeps you, like, if you want to be busy, CSRs are busy. I know that.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. They're on the ground for us
It
everywhere.
says part-time.
Yeah.
But part-time sounds like full-time.
I think that's always leading to full-time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, you came in to work with the CWB Welding Foundation,
Yes.
which is a little bit different because I know you have volunteered with the association as well
Yes. Yep.
through your local chapter. But as the foundation, being a kind of a newer entity within the CWB, what was your relationship with them prior to working?
So prior to working with them it was actually originally with Andrew Bartlett,
Right.
when Andrew was on board. And he was working with a gentleman in New Brunswick called Brian Gray, and they were kind of trying to get welding back in these classrooms, which was
Remember
awesome.
the T-shirts from back then?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the old the old symbols with the CWA.
yeah.
Yep. And so yeah, those two were pushing it. And my boss at the college said, "Hey Adam, I know you love volunteering at these high schools. Why don't you partner with these guys? They're going to teach high school teachers in the summer." So that's how I kind of got in as a teacher through NBCC. So I'd open the door to our campus, and we'd house 30 teachers every summer for a week, and kind of just get into introduction to stick, introduction to wire. And then by the end, they kind of left with a couple tickets, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And we're still connected to this day.
It's one of the biggest requests I get
Yeah.
in passing is from high school teachers being
Right.
like, hey, you guys ran that course a few years back. When are you going
Right.
to do it again? There's so much value in that because you want to talk about heroes. Talk to a high school shop teacher. Like, no funding, no money, no resources, no training, and they got to get out there and do this and have expectations from their students.
Yep.
That's a tough gig.
Yep. And they're go-getters. They're pushing. Like, I know I was in PEI about a month ago and looking to get their shops accredited. They want to get their students to get a ticket. So there's that continuation. So through the foundation, we're building some next level to those educator training. So if you want to get more into fabricating or into testing or that sort of thing, we're working on a lot more of that too.
Yeah.
Which
Did
is great.
you ever work with any of the camps?
I have. I worked with a Mind Over Metal camp
Mm-hmm.
and an Arcs and Sparks camp.
Oh yeah.
So it's new to me. I'm just learning, but so part of my role is I kind of get these under my wing, and I'm kind of the program coordinator for those. And then I get to go
work them.
go work them and meet these people, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's
all over.
amazing.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot of welding colleges out here, for the population and for the geography size. I'm always surprised at how well suited the colleges out here between NSCC and NBCC. There's multiple campuses with multiple welding labs,
Right.
including wet programs, which aren't offered in all of Canada. And you really see a growth and expansion of the colleges out here for welding. Now, why do you think that is? Historically this isn't seen as a welding hub, but it kind of is when you come out here.
Well, there's a lot of that. You don't have to stay here either. So a lot of them will leave, like you said,
Yeah.
or travel or that sort of thing. And I always like to say that it's always a step into the trades. Just because you take a welding course doesn't mean you're going to become a welder. And I always say that to my students, like, that gets your foot in the door. Now the employer knows that you can work with your hands. You have some math skills, some blueprint skills. So I think it's development wise, it's a great first step into any type of career. If it's an automotive mechanic or plumbing, you name it.
Yeah.
But for the numbers, I don't know. There is quite a few. You're right. Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well outfitted shops too.
That's the thing. Like you're looking at some pretty good sized shops. And I remember when NSCC had their grand opening of their new shop. It doesn't seem like that long ago. It's got to be 10 years now, though.
Right.
And I remember coming out here and seeing like they had a robot welding out front and all this stuff, and I was like, "Wow, what's going on out here in the Maritimes, man?" You think it's the industry because, I mean, you got Irving, you got the refinery. I think the largest in Canada or North America, if it's not. And so there's a lot of full-time maintenance work that could happen around here, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And structural shops, like I said, a lot of larger structural shops and sending a lot of product all over the world. Like it is. Yeah. Yeah. And in my year in sales, to get to go out and meet these people and see where these products go. Some of the products we have built in the Maritimes is just amazing.
Now, let's talk about your stint in sales.
Yes.
How'd that go? What happened?
It went great. I was hired on through a friend of mine. He's a manager at the Source Atlantic. So I became a welding specialist and took over Atlantic Canada. And I had 32 outside sales guys. So I wasn't directly a sales guy, but I was the welding guy. So I would go in and talk to people like you, and you'd say, "Hey, okay, there's a welding guy who can talk my language. What does he want? Kind of jot this down, get down quick. This is what he wants." You know what I mean? So they really relate with somebody that can speak our language, I guess. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say, because it leads right into like this weld adjacent thing that I've been talking about. Came up in one of the podcasts already I did today, because, you know, you can have 12 students come in and they're all welding students. You know, 3 or 4 of them are going to be amazing welders that'll just run with it. 3 or 4 might get it and get all of it, but just might lack the hand-eye skills. But there's so many weld adjacent careers, and suppliers is one of them. You look at the big ones, like I know Messer just took, like, I think, who was it?
The guy from Lincoln.
Lincoln, Michael.
Yep.
He just went over to Messer as their weld specialist. And, you know, you got Sebastian Tremblay for Lincoln out west, and you got my friend Chase. He went and worked for Rockmount for a while. And all these welders, Red Seal welders, you know, that have great jobs and great careers, get pulled into the sales side of it, because at the end of the day, welding shops, welding companies, welders don't like buying stuff from people that don't understand them.
They hate it.
They hate it. Yeah.
And when they meet people like us, they just open their wallet because they're like, "Here,
you know,
I need this while you're there." Oh, and then they just message you, "We need this." You might not get the sale, but at least you're getting the pricing, right? Because they're looking for it. And then I found my love for sales too. I really did. Yeah. Yeah. Even in the foundation, I keep telling
you get the pitch.
I keep telling our people, I can pitch the camp for you. It's okay. I enjoy that part.
You know, I've always considered myself to be bad at sales, and people are like, "How are you bad at sales? You're such a good talker." And I say, "Well, it's one thing to talk, and it's another thing to sell."
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like I can talk till the cows come home, but I don't know if I could close the deals like that. You know, it's a different game.
Yeah. And that's where the partnership, I think, with the outside sales worked well, because they were the dollar guy. They were getting most of the commission at the end of it. You were just there to kind of provide the product. Yeah, support. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when you came into this new gig with the foundation as a technical education specialist, what were some of the things about this job that you were most pumped about doing?
Definitely the educator training, sorry. The camps. I've never been involved with the camps, so that was cool. I've always heard rumors about these awesome camps that go on in the summer camps. And the fact that I get to actually run them and work with them and work one-on-one with the kids is awesome. So yeah, I think that's what it was. It was stepping back into education is where I wanted to be. Yeah.
What would be some of the things you'd like to, I guess, create or like venture into with this role? Because, you know, one of the things I've learned with CWB is that we're given quite a bit of freedom for introducing ideas, right?
Yeah.
And I know the foundation's constantly evolving.
Yes.
Right. And there's always new funding envelopes and opportunities, and not just necessarily in your area, but even for other areas. What are some of the ideas you've had kind of, percolating that you think would be great?
Innovation really in the education side. So like I said, in the educator training, kind of getting more advanced courses. So you've already taken the 1, 2, 3 units. Now how about 4 or 5? Let's get more advanced. Another thing is innovation in welding. So as you know, dobots, cobots, robots, that whole world, we want to push that envelope. So we have our capital equipment grant. We just split that up
Into 3 sections.
One being innovation. So you have the classroom, you have the course. Now you want maybe a cutting table or a cobot to kind of
something
take
automated,
it to the next. Especially in these larger manufacturing areas. I mean, it's a must. These people are going into these CNC shops or these robotic shops. So I think that next step is there.
Well, equipment is such a hurdle, and it's also such a savior. Like I remember when I was teaching at Sask Poly, we got a grant, a big one, from the provincial government, and we bought a $500,000 brake press. It's fully electric, like gears, no hydraulics, self-leveling, self-crowning. This thing, it was the bee's knees. And I remember at the time, it was like, this equipment's almost too good. It's too good for the school. It should be like sitting in some shop making $1 million for somebody.
Right.
But as soon as that piece of equipment came into the shop and was set up and everyone got learning how to run it, it brought in so much industry, because now there was actually a school where the students could learn on the newest piece of equipment, so that they can come out of the school and they didn't learn on some AccuPress from 1932, right? That had like 1 foot stomper and you adjusted it with dials. They would learn on proper equipment. And I think that's something that kind of got lost. Even when I was coming up in welding, there was an attitude of like, any old welding machine will work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes and no, right?
Yeah. No, it can definitely mold and change a program into something much more innovative, like you said, a brake press or a set of rolls. Next thing you know, we're building fire pits, and we're bringing people from industry in to actually see these tools and use them, and then, like you said, then they're hiring your students even more.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Yep.
What would be, in your magic hat, what would be some of the most important pieces of equipment a school should be looking at? Let's break this into 2 questions. A high school, what would be an important piece of equipment? A high school, they're learning about these awesome grants that we may have that they can apply for. There might be funding for them. And they're like, well, what do I need? What would be something you think that every school should have?
I always think about myself if I'm doing something. You know what I mean? You're building. You're like, you turn around. I have an iron worker. You're like, okay, I could do so much with an iron worker, especially with a Piranha with some special attachments on it.
7 things on it,
or a bandsaw. So I always try to tell people a bandsaw is great.
An automated bandsaw, so you don't
then
have
you can still go back and work.
Yeah, you can just drop this plate on and walk away.
Those would be 2, and then probably a cutting table,
some type of plasma.
Yeah, because then now you're building logos for people. You can build signs for people. Like, you can really innovate your program with that.
The pricing has changed so much too in the last 10 years. Like, I mean, I remember we're getting a 4x4 or 4x8 plasma table, just like a Torchmate, kind of at the bottom. And it was like almost unrealistically expensive for a high school. And now you see them coming down in prices. I think there's a lot of competition, right? That's driven prices down, because you can get plasma tables from all over the place now. But also other technologies have stepped up, where water jets and lasers have come down in price too.
Yeah, and the plasma world itself has stepped up. Like, the plasma quality is getting so much greater. If you get a good power source, and these tables, like you said, there's so many private Canadian companies building really nice tables. That has brought the price down a little bit. So that nice little table with a really good power source, I mean, you're all set.
You can do whatever you want. You can etch and cut and everything.
Yeah, I see a lot of them for the capital equipment, which is it's great. So somebody is looking to advance their program. So I think that's a really good tool to have.
Now let's talk about colleges. You got a bank of welding machines. You got probably a plasma table for sure. You probably got a press. You probably got maybe some basic rollers. You got an iron worker for sure. Most colleges are going to have an iron worker. What's the piece of equipment that a post-secondary place should be looking at in terms of advancing their program?
Definitely the advanced short circuit processes. I mean,
Like an RMD or an STT.
RMD, STT, talk about Feronious. Like you're looking at very advanced.
CMT.
Yeah. I mean, me and you we just love them all.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, getting into those advanced, because you might be going to a specialty shop where you're not just welding old solid wire short circuit. You might be going to that next level, as well as cobots. Cobots are becoming a thing. A lot of companies, I've sold 2 in my career, but I've had other leads talking to manufacturers. They're becoming a thing. I know in Quebec, it's becoming, every college I think wants to have one, just because they want these students ready for industry, and industry has cobots. So we have to kind of adapt to that.
It's true. And I mean, you see the differences in colleges across Canada, where some colleges are just starting to adapt into it. Some are flying, like you look at what Conestoga is doing with some of their programs. I think Sask Poly's got 18 cobots now. Like, I mean, it's getting up there, right?
It's almost like classroom full, yeah.
Yeah, that was the idea. The idea is like you want to have everyone on one, or else what's the point? Like simulators are cool, but you can only go so far with a simulator, right?
Right. And the last one I'll tell you is lasers.
Yeah.
Lasers are going to become a thing. They are a thing. Where are they going in our world in actual certification? I'm not sure, but for thinner material, I've seen some amazing finish welds on products with them, and some of the major manufacturers are buying them out. So if they're buying in, it's big. Yeah.
I talk to the guys at Waterloo and U of A all the time, and I know that I think one of the presentations that's happening at Weld Industry Day in Red Deer on June 11th is a U of A student, Eddie, and his project is on high deposition laser welding, and they're doing like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch open root fillets with like 532 laser wire, and they're sorting them out. Like, I mean, they're running them root out 4 passes, these on 1 inch plate, and they're bending clean with almost zero prep. And like, I mean, in the beginning it was like, oh yeah, lasers are cool if you're welding tin cans. Oh yeah, that's cute,
right?
Know. But that's never a thing you're going to see in industry.
Right.
Then I get to watch this thing lay a 1/2 inch fillet. It's like, okay, wow.
We're just talking productions going.
Yeah,
through the roof,
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And like, such little gas coverage is needed,
right?
Like, you don't have to worry about purging or any of this stuff. It's unreal. This next level that we're going to be getting into.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, once the big manufacturers get into it, they start dumping their money into it.
Yeah, exactly. Now they're taking it serious, so we need to take it serious to get to that level to meet industry and what they're doing in industry, right? Yeah.
Now with skills here, what have you seen so far today? How are the kids doing? How are the weldments?
It's going really well. They fit together awesome. So basically, like I mentioned before, we're mimicking National. So it's a smaller pressure vessel. We don't pressurize it here, but
that's what I asked someone, if you're actually going to pressurize them or not.
Not this one. It's got a viewing window on the bottom. But at Nationals we do.
Yeah.
Not that they all hold, but
they're supposed to.
So there's a lot of advanced skill. We have every process here, so it's awesome. And just the exposure for them, like we mentioned at lunch, just to even be involved with this with the students is just amazing.
It sets them up for their career. It really does.
Yeah. No, it's a really good positive environment back there. Everybody's having a great time.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Anybody make any like huge mistakes this morning? Anyone put anything on backwards?
It was okay.
Because it's the blueprints that kill you.
It was the blueprint. So I personally double checked them when I stamped them to ensure we're good. And I just do a little nod. You can go back and fix this if you want.
Yeah,
yes.
Every year it's always the blueprint. It's never the skill. It's the blueprint that kills you.
Yeah.
And they get sneaky because what is it? Up to 30% changes are allowed?
Yes. Yep. 20% the morning off.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's just mean.
That's mean. Yeah. We're nice.
Yeah. And then tomorrow's high school.
So it's actually the day one of Regina as well. So we're advancing it. For New Brunswick, it's a first. It has 3 groove welds on it. But for high school, it has 2 flat and horizontal, which I'm looking forward to seeing. It's a great project.
Horizontal stick or horizontal MIG?
It's F3, F4.
Or you should not say, they might be listening.
Yeah, it's an F3, F4, yeah. It's okay. Just me and you in the vending machine.
That's right. And for the post-secondary, there's open route, I believe. There's one across the top, right?
There's
a flat open
yeah,
route.
there's a TIG, there's a wire, there's a stick. So yeah, basically every process open
Yeah.
route. Yeah.
Are they going to be doing aluminum?
No, we don't. We don't have time, unfortunately. I know some provinces like to do even a complimentary fillet of a stainless and a aluminum, but we don't. So basically, if you win, we got to get training pretty fast.
Then that's then it's go time because it's only a couple months away now.
Yeah, we're
well, not even.
end of May. So yeah, about a month.
About a month.
Month away. Yep.
Oh, that's sweat time.
Yep. Exactly.
And it's qualifying year. So
yeah,
once the winner's chosen in Regina, then it's a full out year for whoever that winner is.
Yeah, exactly. You know what it's like, coaching and everything. Yeah,
it's nonstop.
Right.
Well, I mean, once you go to Worlds, you realize the investment that's required to play on the big stage.
Right.
It's not you're doing this after work. It's not like you're doing this, on weekends.
Right.
It's you're quitting your job.
Yep.
And you are devoting 8 hours a day to practicing literally these 15 weld types for the next year, which can be grueling.
Yeah.
I remember watching Adam just hate his life after, the 900th open route in a row. And we're like, nope, do it again.
Yep.
Nope, do it again.
And it looks like perfection.
Yeah, and they're all better than anything I can do.
They're all perfect.
But nope, do it again. It's got
again.
Yeah. Oh, you had one piece of spatter on there. You better watch that angle. Or,
Yeah.
And that I think that's awesome, but also very daunting.
It is. Yeah. Well, and I always say that to everybody. It's just like athletics. This is basically they're competing like we would if we were in a sport.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
I always say welders are like the NHL team of the trades.
Yep.
Right. We're all missing a teeth. We got ugly tattoos, but we wear suits.
Yep.
So
we clean up well.
We clean up well.
Yep. It's true.
Now, what's on tap for the rest of the year? Outside of skills, what's going on with the foundation? What do you guys got programming out? We're on a brand new fiscal right now, so lots of stuff planned out for the rest of the year.
A lot of secrets still because people have applied. So we're just going through the process. I believe it's 30 camps this summer.
Wow.
We're doing the
capital. I think there was like 50 some applications though.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. We'd love to fund them all if we could, but
big company. Hey, big welding.
Yeah.
We get that funding in.
Right. Yeah. That got to put my salesman hat on for that. So yeah, the camps are huge. The events, obviously, we're attending basically most of the skills across Canada and then national, same as yourself. And then the capital equipment will be going through. There's the Weld Safe program going through.
That's right, the Weld Safe program.
And then there's the specialty. So there's the Welder Plus program. A lot of things I don't touch, but I know that we do a lot of it.
Yeah, and there's some one-offs that come up too, right? Like we're working with the Pallet Upskills program right now, which is a big one across Canada. That's a federal program that the CWB Association and Foundation are supporting.
Right.
We have the Filling the Gap program with the Boilermakers and the UTIP program.
Yep.
I mean, really, it's not very many parts of this industry we're not trying to touch, right?
No, it's true. It's great. It's awesome to see the support across Canada. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what do you got planned for yourself? Like, what do you see in your future?
Ooh, I don't know. I have a great boss. Josh is awesome. So as long as he's there, I'm going to stick with him. He knows that.
You hear that, Josh? We have a vote for Josh.
There's
as
Josh,
much as he didn't want that job.
There's Danielle. We got a cool team. We do. We got some awesome people that work together, and we get to work remote first, which is cool. So you're home with your family a lot. We do travel a lot. We have a lot of flight time, a lot of hotel time, but yeah, no, it's great.
We're almost always home for the weekend.
Yeah,
like
I
mean, most of our travel is reasonable. It's what we signed up for.
Right. It is.
We knew.
It is. Yeah. It's a give and take, and they're very nice to us, and it's great.
So how do people get a hold of the foundation, the CWB Foundation? How do people get the information if they're listening to this and they say, hey, I have a school with a small welding program, or I want to start a welding program, or whatever it is? How do they look into this?
So it's a large website, but it's called CWBWeldingFoundation.org. And on there, we have a info at, you email us and it comes directly to us. We'll call you within a couple days from questions on curriculum support. We work with teachers across Canada on that. To, hey, I'm looking at running a camp. When are they open to be applied for, that sort of thing. So yeah.
So CWBWeldingFoundation.org?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. This is where you get them. And then how do people get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you out here in the Maritimes?
In the Maritimes, my email address.
Yeah, however.
Yeah, sure. It's just Adam Stead at CWB Welding Foundation.org. And reach out. We have lots of awesome events and camps and things coming up. They have me in the East now, so we're trying to expand a lot through the Maritimes. So
That's good. It's been needed. We've been needing that support. And when I heard that when I saw your name come up on one of the documents, I was like, oh,
yeah, right.
I see.
I'm connected in the Maritime, so
yeah,
it
that's
helps.
good.
It helps.
does. And you need that, right?
You do. Yeah.
So awesome. Thanks so much for being on the show and being with us here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. And everyone, if you have any questions about running a camp or being involved with the Welding Foundation at all, reach out at any time. And also, the association is there to support you and your students and you for your whole careers. So you can always sign up for your free membership at CWBAssociation.org. Keep downloading and sharing the podcast. We love you. We still got lots more coming out from New Brunswick here in Atlantic Canada, and I'm excited to do them all. So check them all out, and I'll check you at the next one.
We hope you enjoyed the show.